What's going on, guys? Welcome to Not Another Film Review. I'm your host, Ryan. I'm joined by Doobie, Ali, and Sam. Today we're going to be talking about Uncharted. Nathan Drake and his partner Sully, they embark on a dangerous quest to find the greatest treasure never found, while also tracking clues that may lead to Nate's long-lost brother. We are going to be getting into spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, pause it now, go see the movie, and then come back. Let's get into it.
Alright, fellas, so overall, what did y'all think about this movie?
I mean, it was alright, honestly. I mean, I didn't play the video games, but it was okay, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was okay too. I think it's fun for like kids and stuff, but any adult who's gonna watch this is gonna be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't really take it too serious. It was more just like your typical fun adventure movie. Yeah.
I felt like it brought like a lot of action and adventure, but not something to necessarily like pull you in or anything, get you attached to the movie in any way. I noticed that from the about middle of the movie. There was always action. It was always busy in the movie. There was no real downtime like you see in other typical movies. Which I kind of appreciated, but after a while it's just like, alright, you need to like slow down and soak it in, but it just wasn't one of those movies where like you need to soak anything in.
Yeah, there's like hardly any character development. Like, I had no idea who the hell Sully even was, really. Like, he just kind of showed up and he was like, Tom Holland, I need you to come with me. And it's like, I don't even know who the hell this guy was.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right, I was the same way.
No backstory.
It was kind of like one of those goofy movies where they don't really focus on story at all or like connecting the dots at all.
I was thinking like, what are the video game people going to feel about this?
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna hate it.
Well, I think the only real movie you can really compare an Uncharted to is a Tomb Raider film. So you have to kind of look at like a Tomb Raider film in that aspect, but those movies have so much more like acting and stuff. It's like a more serious movie. This one was definitely goofy, you know.
I felt like, especially with the opening scene of the movie, which by the way I thought like the physics of it right off the bat was just wild. Like that dude was
I
just
was
walking
like,
through there. I was
They were
like,
definitely doing a video game adaptation.
Yeah,
for sure.
But there was also parts where I felt like they kind of like chimed into like realistic like motions and like settings and everything like that. I felt like, you know, with the ships being carried on the airplane, the way they tilted around the rocks and everything, I felt like that was like pretty well done and everything. But yeah, some parts you just couldn't take serious.
I do appreciate Tom Holland for doing a lot of the stunts. I feel like he did a lot of that stuff.
The action sequences were very well done. I will give it that.
Yeah.
It was entertaining for sure. It was just it's just not that great.
Yeah.
Of a story.
The CGI too is just like too wild, man. It's good for kids, man. But
Well, was there like a certain scene that like y'all were just like, this doesn't make sense? Was there something certain about like the characters? It's like, what is this like?
I think the opening kind of made me like upset in a way, just because I was watching it and I was just like, man, I didn't think they'd start off like kind of so cheesy like this with the CGI and like the idea that, I mean, I understand, but like, come on, man, you're falling out of a plane, like you can't hear anything. Everybody knows that. You can't just like talk to yourself. And
I thought that was kind of weird how they started the movie off with that scene.
Yeah.
Like I felt like that really didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't really necessary.
Like I wasn't sitting there like, oh, when's that scene coming up again? It was more like, I can wait.
Yeah, they should have just started it with him and his brother adventuring. I think that really pulls you in more, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And on that note, I will say, like, I really did, after the opening scene, I really did appreciate the small development between him and his brother. And that's one thing. I felt like the micro expressions and like just his character was very real, and I was like, oh, like I could sense like the bond and like the development between them and everything.
I wish there was more of it.
That's what I was saying the whole movie. I was like, I hope they bring this guy back or something. But I appreciated that part of the opening scene. I thought that was realistic. I thought that was a good tie, and it kind of brought me into the movie more and everything.
Yeah, something you were talking about, like the character development and stuff. Yeah. Something I didn't understand is like Tom Holland's character. How does he know how to do all this stuff? Like, it's one thing to be a history buff, but he literally loads a cannon, and I'm just like, what?
Exactly. Like, it didn't make sense that he was a bartender. Like, I would have preferred him be like a student, like studying to be like a historian or archaeologist. Yeah. Like similar to Indiana Jones, but like with its own thing. And I looked it up, the video game, like, the reason that he knows all this because his mom was an archaeologist and they didn't even touch on his parents except that they were dead. And it's like, you gotta have more than that, they're just dead.
Yeah, because I was so confused. I'm just like, it took me out of the movie. I'm like, this dude's my age. Like, I don't know how old the character is, but Tom Holland's like, what, 23? I'm just like, what 23-year-old knows all this? Like, come on.
Plus, if you know you're going to make another film and you have a budget for another Uncharted film, like, go into the story, like, really bring people in, because this one doesn't really connect you to the character at all. Like, if you play the games, you'll understand that, like, Nathan Drake, he's kind of, you know, you want to be like him. And then this one, you just kind of, you look at Tom Holland and you're like, look at this goofy kid. Like, how does he know how to do all this?
I will say that it's surprising that he took on it's definitely different, obviously, from Spider-Man. You know, he goes from the nerdy kid, because, like, they obviously took his shirt off. It's like, okay, Tom Holland, I see you, you know, you got some muscles. He's not Spider-Man in this movie. This is a different character. He's not a nerd, you know, so props to him, you know, going off and doing other stuff.
Yeah. It did kind of feel like he was still playing, like, Peter Parker.
Yeah, I was getting that.
It is Peter Parker, but he was finding a treasure.
Yeah. It's like older Peter Parker with more confidence.
Yeah. And I imagine both the latest Spider-Man and this movie were filmed maybe even overlapping or something.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With the time span that they came out. He must have gone from one to the other.
Yeah. There was an interview with Tom, and he was saying how they wanted him to get his hair cut, but so in Uncharted, he had his hair long, and then he went and filmed Spider-Man. They're like, oh, your hair is too long. And like, apparently it's like, oh, that was my first time I put my foot down. They wanted me to wear a wig and stuff. So, yeah, the films were filmed pretty close together, pretty much probably at the same time.
I feel like, as much as it's like successful for his career, like obviously Mark Wahlberg's a different story, right? And then the other actors that were in it that, you know, it's good for their careers, right? But I think for Tom Holland, it kind of like puts him in this box, and it doesn't really, because he was a child actor, and he's not a bad actor at all, but these movies just kind of put him in a box of like this goofy kid who's not where stories don't matter. I feel so bad saying that, but it's
cookie cutter.
It's just like,
and that's why as soon as like you started getting that kind of like that Peter Parker-esque like goofiness, I was like, oh man,
especially with all the stunts, I'm just like, this is Spider-Man.
I'm like, and I hope he doesn't get typecasted like that, because like you said, Ollie, he is a good actor, and I'm glad that he's doing something close enough to Spider-Man where he's not going to be only known as Spider-Man, you know, but I do wish to see him outside in either more serious or like some other kind of category film, you know, not just like an action hero character or actor, you know.
So we've been dissing this film a lot. Is there anything I don't like about the movie?
I mean, the action sequences were very entertaining. Like it kept me engaged. Like I wasn't like looking at the time on my watch, like to see like how much longer do I have. Like it's an entertaining movie. I will give it that. Like if you want to have a decent time and just turn your brain off at the movie theater, like you'll enjoy yourself. You'll enjoy yourself.
It's
like,
a one-time watch for sure.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not very rewatchable.
Like I like adventure, like treasure hunt. Like I think that's cool, but like I really wasn't like. I don't know, like Like, I was thinking about National Treasure this whole time, and like,
Yeah.
when I saw National Treasure, I'm like, oh shoot, they got this clue and this clue, but in this one, I was just like, okay, they got this clue and then that clue and then that leads to that, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know.
I feel the same way in the sense of like it was almost too easy. They're like, oh, we have these keys, and by the way, these keys unlock like 400 different doors. And by the way, one of these doors is behind a bar of an underground.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
club.
it's like they
I'm
went
just
into
like,
it. I was like, what?
It was all so convenient.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
there was no real like challenge to figure
It was
out.
too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
That's-
Yeah.
I was thinking like that's probably a director thing, you know. I mean, obviously it's based off a video game, but like the director, you know, I was talking about he did Zombieland, you know, and stuff, and Venom. So it's definitely got that little humor to it.
So it's like, I get why they made it PG-13 because it's gonna get more butts in the seat to make money, but it's like,
Yeah.
I wonder if they made it rated R to kind of mirror the game a little bit more, how much better the story could have been and the action. Like,
I
you
think-
would have been able to do a lot more with it, I feel like.
I was watching some gameplay recently. I think the reason it's rated mostly mature is because you end up killing a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
they were
you
some
shoot a lot of
gunfights.
people.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah,
it's
you
getting a little
shoot.
serious. But that was even with the gunfights, it felt a little toyish.
Yeah.
Because like the gunfights that happen is the one where all the stuff is flying out the airplane.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is very kind of cartoonish. You can see the CGI,
Well,
and then there's the fight with the guns, with the boats flying through the air. So there's a lot going on.
I
So
don't
it's
know
like,
if I even saw one person get shot.
I was
It's
just
like
about to
everybody
say,
was able to
well,
dodge
well,
every bullet. Like,
Dude, what really made me just like, why did they do it that way was how they killed off Antonio Banderas'
Yes.
character so quickly.
yeah, he's like a very
Like,
high
yeah,
actor.
it's
And it's just
like-
like I expected more of him. And
Yeah.
well, you just have all this setup of him being the villain, and then it's just
Yeah.
like, all right, finally, it's like we
Oh.
get a good villain moment,
Double
and then
cross.
done.
yeah, I don't like how they had old girl like just take his place like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that she was like
Like,
worthy of the succession of
Yeah.
like, you know, he was obviously like on a mission and stuff, but
But it's another thing I didn't get. Like, who is she? Like, all she was like a hired like hitman to help him out, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm slitting your throat. I'm taking your place.
Yeah.
I was like,
And I'm the leader of everybody now.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, so wait, are these your people or is that his
Yeah.
people? Like,
no,
I
no
was-
backstory.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
so thrown off.
and I don't like, and I know we talked about, hey, we're dissing this movie so much. I don't like how, I don't want to say it's a cop out, but like movies like these, like, oh, double cross,
Yeah.
double cross. Like
Yeah.
every and anybody can just double cross
It's like, what-
anybody at any point.
What's the next twist? Oh
Yeah.
wait, it's a double cross.
Rick and Morty, did you
Yeah.
ever see that episode? Like, they basically make a whole show joking about that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, who? Who's next?
And even at the, and like they left old girl on the boat, like Fraser, like
She would have had to came in that helicopter with me.
like where did she go? Where did she come from? Like
Who knows?
Part two.
I guess we'll find out in the sequel.
Yeah.
It's just such an easy movie to make for some money, and that's
Yeah.
the truth of it. It's like they didn't really take their time really developing anything. There is no development. The focus was on action scenes and just being a fun movie. So
It's a cash grab.
yeah, just a cash grab, and you know.
Something that's already been made, but they want to, hey, the
Yeah.
video game was successful, let's
Mm.
bring it over to the movies, so.
I feel like it's one of those movies where the actors probably had a lot of fun on
Oh,
the
yeah.
set.
Yeah.
They
That's the
had,
thing, like,
a
it was a
good
fun
time.
movie to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like, oh, geez.
I think
Yeah.
the average moviegoer is gonna have a good time, but like people that love movies like us, and then especially the people that played the games, nah,
Oh
they're
yeah,
not gonna have.
the
they're
people
not
that
gonna
actually
like it.
played these games are gonna
No,
be.
they're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
They're gonna absolutely hate it.
I think y'all put it best. It's a one-time watch, and it's made more for kids. I think that's the best way to sum it up.
I know we've been dissing this movie a lot, but I gotta say, okay, the last thing I'll diss is that it's your typical treasure movie where they find the treasure, but something happens, like an Indiana Jones
Yeah.
thing, and they only get like one or two pieces out of
Yeah.
the treasure. And I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
It's like, and it, it's like literally every treasure movie.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said,
It's like it hardly has a happy ending. pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah, or it has like a Alright, well that wasn't the worst ending, but it wasn't like as successful and everything.
Like, I would have rather, I think the story could have been way better had Mark Wahlberg's character been the older brother, and then
Yeah.
the older brother keeps referencing Sully, like, as his mentor or whatever, and then we get the tease for Sully at the end, and then that's what the sequel would be, because I'm assuming Sully is a big part of the video game, so it's like, I'd rather tease that up, and then the payoff of, like, saying the older brother dying at the end of this movie probably would have been a little bit better. You would have felt it a little more emotionally. I would have enjoyed that story a little bit more. It would have been something that I might not have been expecting besides a double cross.
We're gonna find out in part 2 because they definitely hinted at it part 2.
Yeah.
Because there's a post-credit scene, and that calls the question now. Because they were so set on, Mark Wahlberg. His character was pretty set that he died, and then the girl was like, "Yeah, I killed him." So it's like that goes back to the double cross thing. It's like, is there another double cross I'm not seeing?
Yeah. Did Sam double cross Sully, who double crossed the girl, and then Sam got away? And
yeah, and that's why I think it just gets. Especially with the lack of development that was offered, that's where it just gets almost too confusing. Is the too many double crosses? Because then it's just like, all right, well, I'm not even gonna try to invest any of my attention in this movie. I'm just gonna watch what happens because it's just gonna plot twist anyway.
It's just to me, it's so sad that there's not even a little bit of character development.
Yeah.
It's okay, to have an action movie, something not that much, right? But have a good story at least, and have enough character development where you at least feel for the characters.
Right.
In general, I just didn't feel for any of the characters. I'm not connected to them whatsoever, and it's all writing. It's got to be writing and dialogue.
Another negative I just thought of, or something that just kind of was like,
I know we've been dissing this movie a lot.
I know we dissing it, but the very beginning when the cop, they get arrested, it's like, what cop brings them back to the orphanage? And then it's like, okay, I trust you, go get your stuff. We'll walk.
It's like, it's just strike 3, go up in your own to your room.
Yeah, and then he walks out the window. I assume he's on the 3rd story because they walk upstairs. I'm just like, what? It's like, man, I wish cops were that easy on me. Yeah, you can go get your stuff. I'll wait here for you. But anyways, we've been saying a lot of negatives. What would y'all rate this? What kind of popcorn are we talking about?
I'd put it right below original. I mean, it's not as bad to be burnt, but like we've been saying, it's a one-time watch. It's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have rather just wait to watch it at home. What about you, Ollie?
Same. I think it might even be closer to burnt, honestly. But I'd give it between original and burnt for sure.
Yeah, I would say it's not quite burnt, but it's rather bland, a rather bland popcorn to me.
Yeah. Let's just say I didn't fall asleep in it. It kept my attention, so yeah, I'll go with just average.
Some great value microwavable popcorn.
But alright, I guess that's it. Hope you liked it. Tune in next time for our next movie review. Should have said film review.
You can still say it.
Alright everyone, so that was our review of Uncharted. Let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Until next time, we'll see you then. Take care.